eBay, get live. So now we're doing some additional Wing Chun hands and some additional things in terms of the hand immobilization, one of Bruce Lee's 5 ways of attack, some trapping and sensitivity training, tactile awareness, whatever you want to call it, but we're doing some things in that realm. And so what we want to cover in this lesson are some additional Wing Chun hand movements that Bruce Lee, of course, incorporated from Wing Chun into the Jeet Kune Do curriculum. And so the first one we want to start with is going to be something called jump sao. Jump sao, which is this motion here. Now, we've previously done jump sao when we learned about Dan Chi sao, which is our single hand sticky hands. And so we utilize a jump sao motion from the fuk sao, from the hooking hand. We learn when our opponent does a palm strike from here, we're going to do a jump sao to deflect that attack and then come back with our own strike. Now, the energy in jump sao is just going, I would say it's going straight down, but it's actually not going straight down. So the energy in Wing Chun is always forward. It's always forward intent. So it may look like it's going down. It may look like it's going out. It may look like whatever direction you think that it's going, but the energy is always forward. So let's go ahead and explain this a little bit. So from any position you have to be in, whether I got a fist, whether I got a fuk sao, whatever it is that I'm doing, I am dropping the wrist down and pulling the fingers back to facilitate or execute a jump sao. Now, the forward intent in the jump sao is this. As I pull my fingers back, that creates tension in the wrist. And that tension in the wrist is going forward. The reason it's going forward is because my fingers are pulling back towards myself. So it creates that opposite action, that opposite energy, where my wrist is going forward as my fingers pull back. And that's that forward intent. So really, there's a lot of action here in the wrist dropping and going forward as your fingers pull back. That is the idea here. So notice I may start on a higher trajectory, a higher angle here, but then as I drop down, it comes a little bit lower. That's only meant to jump sao just enough so my opponent's attack doesn't reach me. In other words, I'm not trying to jump sao super low here, because if I go too low, right, my opponent's going to come right back up and attack me here, or it's very easy to slide off, or my opponent will feel me going low and just circle around and do a hook punch or whatever he wants to do. So jump sao is just enough. It's just a quick motion, and then essentially you can use this bouncing effect in the sense that you want to bounce and then come right back with your own attack, with your own strike. So that's the energy in jump sao. Personally, I really only use jump sao in the Wing Chun movements, in the energy drills such as Dan Chi sao. I haven't found, there probably is some combat application to jump sao. I think anything almost has a combat application that you can think of, but generally speaking, it's a little bit harder, I think, to figure out what a combat application is, because you're not going to be, even if you're in this position, you might jump here to pull this down a little bit. Maybe you're doing a jump here and coming in for an underhook, but it should be such a seamless process that it shouldn't be a separate movement. It shouldn't be a 1-2 movement here. If I need to get to the underhook, I'm going to do it all in one fluid motion. So I might use the energy of the jump sao in grappling or in clinching or in trapping, but it's very rare when I'm going to do the jump sao as an isolated movement and then do something else. It's not very rare. I still may hold this movement, this position, like as in a wu sao. It's a very similar position. The jump sao position here and the wu sao position. You might hold this movement here to deflect or parry or block, or whatever the case is, but to just jump sao something, it's a little bit more uncommon in fighting. But again, not saying you can't do it, but I do like to do this in the drill because it does teach me energy, and also teach my opponent energy in terms of how to feel and perceive your opponent's energy and hopefully use that against them. So that's your jump sao. You can train that, try that with both hands, just dropping and sending this forward, pulling the hands back as you do so. Again, you notice the angle, 130-degree angle here, greater than 90. So keep the elbow away from the body here. Don't collapse your movements as you do them. Don't collapse them. Don't drop it down too low. Those are some basic things. So just keep that in mind and as you train your Wing Chun hands. So the purpose of what we're trying to do for the Wing Chun hands in this course is really just to introduce you to them. So you've got your fuk sao, you've got your tan sao, you've got your bong sao, you've got your wu sao, your guarding hand, you've got your jump sao, so that you're familiar with them and you can do them if someone asks you what is a tan sao or fuk sao or wu sao or whatever the case is. You know the difference, you know the terminology, and you can do them. And that will be a good introduction for when you do start, utilizing and doing the drills such as Dan Chi sao, Chi sao, lap sao and some of the other drills that we do in Jeet Kune Do. Bong sao, lap sao roll, things like that, swinging gait, and so forth. Okay, next one we want to cover is similar to the jump sao, and this one's called Jeet sao. This is like the jerking hand or jerking motion that you're utilizing. Now, Jeet sao you see a lot in the Wing Chun dummy form. It's really at the end of every section of the Wing Chun dummy form. You'll see the person pull back a little bit here. This is Jeet sao, but this is also Jeet sao. So you'll see this motion or this motion from the Wing Chun dummy form. So what's the difference? So this motion is good. You have some friction here. So you might do this and then come back to attack. This is fine. This may be something that you do. So you can do this. You can attack with the opposite hand. You can come back with the same hand. Typically, when we do Jeet sao, we're using the grab here, the grip here. The difference between jump sao and your Jeet sao more so is that jump sao uses more of the wrist, more of that wrist action here. Jeet sao is using more of the elbow and the pullback. So elbow and the pullback, that's your Jeet sao. It's a jerking motion as opposed to a jump sao, which again, more of the wrist coming down as opposed to jerking, pulling. So this is very similar to your lap sao where you're pulling here, but Jeet sao is jerking. It's really jerking. Now it can come down a little bit, but it's also more so coming in. So you're pulling your opponent in more so, in and down, and you can open up that line of attack, hopefully. Fix this hat here. You can open up that line of attack for your hooks, for your straight shots, whatever it is you want to do, or the opposite hand. So Jeet sao is just this jerking motion to slide something in. So it's very useful, Jeet sao. I'm typically more likely to use a Jeet sao than a jump sao. Because of the energy, it's a little bit stronger. I'm using the elbow in. I can pull and jerk on the arm as I, just need to snake in, either with the punch or snake in with an elbow. And that's nice to be able to do that too, because you don't need a lot of space to get an elbow in there. If you're in a clinch and you're tied up here, you don't need a whole lot of space to get an elbow. Just a little bit of space here to jut down and boom, whip that elbow right across. So that's going to be the function of the Jeet sao, using the pull and jerking hand. So again, as you're working in your trapping, into your grappling, your underhooks, your lap saos, I can lap sao into my reverse collar tie. I can come back around, Jeet sao with a strike here, where I'm coming up or coming with an elbow or some kind of chopping motion here or palm strike. I can jut here. I can swim in for the underhook, swim back out. So I'm flowing in my different types of maneuvers in that grappling. And so we're just adding the Jeet sao to what you're already doing as far as your double collar, single collar, reverse collar, underhooks, overhooks, pak sao, lap sao, so forth and so on. Okay. All right. Next one. So this is a lot in that we're kind of covering here, just kind of wrapping up with a lot of the Wing Chun hands that we utilize in Jeet Kune Do. Next one here that I want to talk about here is called Hyun sao. Hyun sao is small circling hand. So Hyun sao, we see this in Sulim Tao. We see this in the first function of Sulim Tao where we throw the punch and we're doing a Hyun sao. This motion here is Hyun sao. This is small circling hand. So I'm just circling my hand here, circling my wrist, really circling at the wrist. So Hyun sao I actually use, okay? We essentially use Hyun sao when we did a parry. So when I did this parry out, this is a Hyun sao like motion. Whether I Hyun sao to strike, whether I Hyun sao to come in here or Hyun sao to come out here, this is that Hyun sao motion effectively. I will use a Hyun sao when sliding in for the underhook, okay? So Hyun sao is very effective. It's a way to get from the outside line to the inside line very easily. That's a Hyun sao. I can be here in the clinch and I can Hyun sao to slide in and come under, okay? And his hat is just won't stay on, okay? But that's okay. But you can use this wrist to get anywhere else that you need to get just by rotating the wrist to get to a single collar tie or rotating to get into an underhook or come back out to an overhook, whatever it is you want to do. But this is that small circling hand. A lot of times you may use it if I've got wrist-to-wrist contact. I might circle to come in for the punch, especially if he's giving me energy that pulls out, that's moving towards the wall here. If he has energy that way, I'm going to slide in, let his hand go out, and I'm going to go ahead and strike here or strike to the throat or face or whatever the case is. So this is Hyun sao, small circling hand. So again, you can go through the gamut. You can go through your Tan sao. You can go through your Hyun sao into your Wu Sao. You can pull your Wu Sao. This is all the Wing Chun first form. This is my Fuk Sao. This is my Tan Sao. Then I can flow this to a Jump Sao. Okay. So all this we do in the Sulim Tao. And you've got your Bong Sao. Again, back to Tan and so forth and so on. So just so you kind of know what the different movements are and the different hand movements, because from all of these, they're energy. I'm using Hyun Sao because I feel energy that I can go in. You know, he's pushing me out, so I'm going to take that and come in. You know, I'm using Fuk Sao here. I'm using the jump. Again, the jump energy rather than using that to slide in as well. Same concept. Or I'm using the Jut Sao because I feel like he's not giving me a lot of energy, not a lot of pressure. I'm going to pull down and slide something in, whether it's a punch or an elbow, whatever the case is. But all of the Wing Chun movements effectively flow from what your opponent's doing. You're not just doing them because you want to do a Hyun Sao or a Jump Sao or Jut Sao. You're doing it because your opponent's giving you that option based off the energy that you feel. And so that's why we would use some of these hand positions. The last one we want to cover is going to be a large circling hand. So your Hyun Sao is your small circling hand, where I'm doing a Hyun Sao at the wrist. The large circling hand, I'm doing this more at the elbow shoulder. And so this is called a Jiao Sao, where I'm now, or also called running hand, where I'm circling out now. Now, Jiao Sao is that large circling motion. So if I happen to be at this wrist-to-wrist position, regardless of how I got there, maybe I threw a punch, boom, and he blocked it here somehow, I can do large circling hand and come back to strike here. And that's fine. Or I threw the shot here, large circling hand, and maybe I'm coming in for an underhook. I use the Jiao Sao, the large circling hand, a lot because, again, as I'm coming here, it's very easy to kind of whip this around, wrap this around. Maybe I threw a punch and they parried it, whatever it is, and I'm going to Jiao Sao, circle around, and that's going to be a hook punch. So Jiao Sao is great in terms of transitioning to a hook punch. You can use the Jiao Sao as well to transition you to your grappling, whether you come to this position for your Jut Sao, or again, you Jiao Sao to the inside line for the underhook, or Jiao Sao to the inside line for the single collar tie. Whatever the case is, maybe I'm going for the reverse collar tie. Regardless, you can utilize that Jiao Sao very effectively to get some of those nice positions that you really want to utilize. Because sometimes a Hyun Sao is just, again, too small, and you have to use the shoulder and elbow now additionally to kind of work that that position that you ultimately want to get to. So there's a lot of hand positions from Wing Chun that, of course, Bruce Lee incorporated into Jeet Kune Do, because a lot of them are very functional and they work very well regardless of what your structure is, whether you're in the Jeet Kune Do on guard stance or you're more in a Wing Chun structure. Wherever you happen to be, a lot of these movements are functional and they do work very well. So what we want you to do is really to kind of, get these down, muscle memory these. So you have them, even if you're doing them from your Baijong stance. Okay, I got my Tan Sao here, and okay, this is how Tan Sao feels. And I'm gonna move my hip a little bit in Tan Sao to kind of get the position, make sure I keep my wrist on center and my elbow between center line and shoulder. And I've got Tan Sao. Okay, great, that's Tan Sao. Okay, here's Fuk Sao. Okay, I can close my eyes. Okay, this is what Fuk Sao feels like. What can I do here? Where's my energy at? My opponent's on the inside here, so I'm on the outside. Maybe I can swim in. Okay, I'm gonna swim in. Am I using a Hyun Sao? Am I using the Jump Sao energy to slide in? Am I going to Jut Sao and come in with the elbow? So a lot of times, your Fuk Sao is going to be here. And that's where you're going to utilize your Jump Sao. You're going to utilize your Jut Sao or your Hyun Sao and slide in, okay, from this outside line. Jiao Sao is primarily using from the outside here. And you're going to Jiao Sao out, although you can sometimes use Hyun Sao as well. If you're here, you can use Hyun Sao to come out here as well. Hyun Sao is also very effective if somebody grabs, right? If they grab your wrist, sometimes you can Hyun Sao and circle, right, and grab their wrist. Okay, so this is very common in martial arts. They may not call it Hyun Sao, but it's the same concept. One other point I forgot to mention here on your Hyun Sao: when you're Hyun Sao, you don't want to just roll your wrist any kind of way. You really want to pull in as close as you can and turn it here. So you really want this nice and tight as you turn and rotate your Hyun Sao. So I don't want to just rotate it here at this angle. I want it almost like a Fuk Sao, where it's almost that 90-degree angle here in the wrist, as much as you can get it. Because the closer that is, the stronger it's going to be in terms of moving your opponent's arm or hand if they have a grab or something like that on you. So flow between these different things from your Baijong stance. You've got your Bong Sao. You can come back to Tan, Fuk, Hyun Sao, Jut Sao, Jump Sao. Okay, you've got your Wu Sao that we've covered, and then same thing, rotating it with the other hand. Just flow between those things and learn those movements, and then see how you can incorporate them into the clinch. And that's how you're gonna get better with them. Hopefully, at some point, you have time to train it with a partner. Particularly some of the flow drills, whether it's Dan Chi Sao, the Bong Sao, Lap Sao roll, any of those flow drills, because that's really how you're gonna learn the energy in the drills, is that way. But in the meantime, at least you can get the hand positions, the placement. And if you have a bob, or even if you have a bag that you can use to work, okay, I've got Bong Sao here, I've got Tan Sao. If you have any kind of weight or any kind of energy, that's going to help you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, a wooden dummy or a bob dummy with arms or anything like that. If you have a bag, you can this is going to be good for you training, because you got outside energy now from the heavy bag on your Tan Sao. And you can move the bag. If you can push your bag back and let it hit your Tan Sao, or let it hit your Bong Sao, or that's going to help you to get used to impacting energy without collapsing your structure as well. So just getting used to feeling this. Okay, this is what this feels like, and maybe I can jiao sao around to get to a different technique here, and maybe throw some elbows and strikes. All those kind of things will be helpful for your training. But that's it. That's really it. Just kind of work that with a little bit of energy, a little bit of resistance, just a little bit of weight on that, and you'll find that very helpful. And then just to kind of open your mind to what else you can do if you're training solo, which I know a lot of folks are training solo, online training solo. This is just a beginner's course, so we're just introducing you to concepts, the techniques, and the movements, the hand movements. But then as you get more advanced, you'll hopefully be able to apply them more from your in-person training and your sparring and other stuff you're doing, because you should still be doing some kind of resistance training, whether it's sparring or grappling and those kind of things, boxing, kickboxing, whatever it happens to be. Because we really want you to be able to defend yourself. I mean, that's really it. We really want you to be able to defend yourself and use your Jeet Kune Do effectively. And you only know if you really start to, okay, let me try to apply it. Because just watching the video is great, and it's a great way to learn. You can go back, rewind, take notes, and incorporate that in your training. It's really the most important aspect of your training, is the training you do at home by yourself when no one's watching. So this training you're doing now is the most important training that you could really possibly do. The key is it's only as effective as if you now go and transfer that and learn how to apply it. Okay, so it doesn't stop here. Learn how to apply it, learn how to work it and train it and get better. If you have prior experience in martial arts and prior training, it's going to make a little bit more sense, and you a lot of times can pick up on techniques without having to test it out, because you've done something similar before, and okay, if I've done something similar, okay, I understand how that's going to feel and that's going to work, and so you'll have that kind of framework. But those are some additional hand movements from the Wing Chun that, again, we incorporate here in the Jeet Kune Do curriculum in terms of our energy, drills, our sensitivity, and tactile awareness training. Ibe, Genlai.